Hello and welcome to another Scardcast Battle Report. Today the forces of the demons in large, big monster mash style versus nothing but witches! Begin!
The Dark King.
Hello and welcome to another Battle Report. I'm here at the Hooded Goblin in Georgetown, Ontario, Canada. Check the link down below for all your tabletop hobby goodies and stuff like that. Also, Patrons get discount. Yay! Other than that, we're playing the Scouring GT mission number 23 for the larger 2,000 point level. Let's go over the armies. This one's really crazy because it's hull 2 for 5 points. And we are using the WTC terrain format for the missions. We're using map number 2. And here we have 2,000 points of Witch Cult. That's right, I put a poll up on the YouTube channel. Hundreds of people voted and you wanted to see a full Witch Cult army. No Cabal, no Coven, pure gladiatorial skill. So here we go, 2,000 points. It is still using the triple patrol detachment, the raiding force, so I can get all the command points that I want for my endeavors. I'm keeping it as simple as possible while showcasing some of the neat obsessions, and we'll see how it does. You know, it's definitely not as optimized. When I'm optimizing a list, I make a list like this, and then I'll play it 20 or so times as I tweak it and tweak it. So the finalized list would look not so different as this, except it would just be more efficient with choices and combinations of units and war gear options and things like that. So let's dive into the list. The first patrol is a Cult of Strife witch cult led by Lilith Hesperax, who will be the warlord because I want her to be the warlord. And she will have the Blood Dancer warlord trait, of course. We have a 10 strong unit of witches. We have a 5 strong unit of witches in the patrol. And we have one Razorwing jet fighter with lances and a rifle. Now, this is because Cult of Strife has the double attack or double shoot stratagem. So if that kills something, then I could spend the command points and it could shoot again. So it gives me a little bit of extra oomph if I need it. Then we have a Cult of the Red Grief detachment. Now, this is pretty simple. I put it in only so I can have my super fast Reaver jet bikes. But it is a succubus with an just the Archite glaive and also the Helm of Spite as my free relic, and 2 squads of 5 witches. Now, each of these witch squads does have a Hydra Gauntlet, not a Chardonnay Impaler, just a Hydra Gauntlet. It's cheaper and gives you reroll wounds in combat, which is good. The bikes are equipped with 3 Heat Lances in the 9 bike squad and 3 Grav Talons for some mortal wound output as well. The advance and charge on them should be very useful, as well as their use of the do mortal wounds while I fly over you stratagem, which can be kind of snazzy. The biggest of the patrols is a custom obsession. The custom obsession is Test of Skill, which means that against vehicles and monsters that have, I think, 7 or more wounds or 8 or more wounds, you get +1 to wound, with which is awesome. It is amazing. And I'm also using Slashing Impact, so when they charge in, they do mortal wounds on 6s, I think is what it is. Alternatively, you can use Berserk Fugue, which gives them extra attacks, etc., but you know, Test of Skill is the big one. Now, in this one, I'm running a Succubus with a Shardnet and Impaler. I'm running 1 unit of 5 witches. Cool, fancy, with a Hydra Gauntlet as well. 2 units of 5 Hellions. That's right, Hellions. One of the units has a Phantasm Grenade Launcher on the Heliarch. Because those are infantry, and that's infantry, and that's infantry, that's 4 infantry, then 5 infantry with a Beast Pack Master with an Agonizer, and 2 units of 5 Razorwing Flocks, just to get in the way. As dedicated transports, I have 4 Venoms and 1 Raider with a Disintegrator Cannon. And then in support, I have 1 Reaper, because a Reaper can be Coven, Cabal, or Witch Cult, which does make it really handy. especially with test of skill and the +1 to wound. And then you have the Razorwing Jet Fighter with the disintegrators and twin rifles. Also quite efficient when you factor in test of skill. And there you have it, 2,000 points of witches. Let's take a look at what they will be facing today. And once again on the channel, back by popular demand, we have the Monster Mash list of demons, and now Magnus, because Magnus has decided that he's the head honcho and he did nothing wrong. So he deserves to not be on the sidelines here at the Hooded Goblin with Cody. Cody, what have you brought? Explain it. So you took the named keeper out, but you brought Celeskin,
Yep.
which is like a demon prince that has like a bazillion attacks.
Yes.
Other than that, don't mind the gray models. Don't mind them. They're not here. They're getting painted. They will be fully painted the next time you see them. Look at all the other pretty models. So explain the list. How does this work?
So you've got your 3 Keepers of Secrets, all exalted, all random.
Yep.
Then you've got an exalted Lord of Change where you get the Impossible Robe just to make him super tough.
Yep.
Gives you a good while you stand, we fight target. So him, Magnus, and Silseki are often my 3 targets for that.
Is he more expensive than one of them?
Same price.
Oh, very cool.
Exactly
So you
the
pick
same.
the
I can pick
untargetable one? which is
Or if I
awesome.
roll really, really good, like say 3 is -1 to wound, 2 is a 4 Binval. If I ever get 2 of them on a keeper together, I'll pick that guy because he becomes very hard to kill.
Yeah.
And then all the keepers know fight again in the fight phase is psychic power, and then there's a smattering of
Fight again in the psychic phase.
psychic phase,
Yep.
sorry, and then there's a smattering of feel no pain and -1 to hit, and then Pavana Slanesh, which is for every guy in your squad. I roll a 6, take a mortal wound.
Yep.
This guy knows Bolt of Change, Gaze of Fate, and Gateway, and then the 1 means he gets an extra power, so I'll probably take the Boon, which is a buff, and I'll cast it on Magnus.
Probably.
Then these are Demonettes.
Woohoo! Zangorian Demonettes.
They're very blue Demonettes. And I think the All-Stars for Demons for 9th edition, the Nurglings. They're just powerhouses right now.
They are indeed.
The way that the game
You have
has
more
changed-
of them than you had last time.
Yep, I've been ticking them up. Like I took off the, they used to have shields. I've switched it for whips for all 3 of them.
So no feel, no pain.
No feel, no pains. But it lets them get through screens. There's a lot of MSU, and the whip just helps churn through that MSU to get to the thing I actually want to get to.
Yep. 6 attacks at like 2 damage, strength
-2.
6.
Yep,
Yes,
you're
they
rolling
go.
ones to win.
And they can shoot it into close combat, which is really neat.
Yep, they changed the rule to make it the rule that all the monsters have now, but it's still pretty decent. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's still okay. And then Silseki was added to respect the fact that hordes are coming. People are realizing that hordes are good, and this guy loves him some horde armies.
And of course, Mr. Magnus himself.
He's he creates a lot of problems for your opponents.
He does. He's pretty big. Now that
Right.
you can like hide him if you need to,
Yep.
like off board if you really
The
need to,
fact that you
etc.
can deep strike him is amazing.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll flank him, and he's got warp time, death hex, +1 to hit, -1 to hit, +1 save.
Yep.
See, keep that in mind. He has 4 powers because of his warlord trait. He has to be the warlord in a Supreme Command detachment.
Yep.
Being a Supreme Commander, he pays for a battalion. Has nothing to do with his keywords. Just pays for a battalion. And then, of course, just the paid for the relic there, because you don't get a free relic because you don't have a 1,000 Sun detachment
Yep.
to get a free relic. Other than that, you start with what, 5 CP?
Correct.
But that's more than enough for a high aggro list like this. Last but not least, some Nurgle Furies. But we're going to pretend they're not on the table. Okay.
They do a lot of good work.
So with that, let's dive into the mission. And here we are after deployment. So in terms of secondary objectives, Cody, what did you take?
I am running. Bring them down.
Yep,
Engage all fronts.
yep.
And while we stand, we fight.
Cool. And you've picked Magnus, the Lord of Change, and Silseki.
Yep.
Because I can't target her. I've decided to go for engage on all fronts, scramblers, and abhor the witch. I'm not going to make that mistake this time. They're all psychers. You're all going to die. I don't have psychers.
Yep.
So that's the case.
Easy 15.
This is where my Helm of Spite is. So this is the deployment. This is the scouring. It's a very, very interesting deployment. 8 inches up, 16 inches up like this, which means you have, there's 28 inches in between, which is crazy. So there's actually more distance than normal. I drew a line, as you can see. Most of my stuff is behind this line. The Keeper Secrets with the extra 2 inches of movement, even with a full advance, cannot physically declare anything behind this line as the charge of a target, as a target of a charge. Even with +1 to charge, you still cannot declare things that are outside of 12, which means my bikes, like this line right here. I put bait, bait, bait. So we'll see if the bait is taken or if not. But if one keeper came up and just like charged, then my whole army could eat it. So, it's kind of what you hope for sometimes. Demon little Nurglings went here. They infiltrated up to just force me to deal with them because they're OBSEC. Nurglings over here, Nurglings over here, Nurglings over there. And so it's pretty snazzy. I spent 1 command point to deep strike a single unit of witches. Yep. And you spent 3 command points to put Magnus in outflank as well as the demonettes. Because you can shoehorn them in there, and because of the deployment, it literally squeezes. With this table setup in this deployment, it squeezes you in. So you literally have like this little area here, which is very, very intense.
I'd love to be AdMech on this table.
That's right. Daka. I want table 2, especially with this style of terrain. Yep. I did take Scramblers as my 3rd one, so engage, kill Psychers, and Scramblers, because it's an easy 10 points, and I don't want to have to be forced to kill more stuff than I need to. And last time I played this, I didn't kill the Nurglings because I was trying to kill the monsters, and then that lost me the game, pretty much. Okay, so with that, rolling off, sir. Let's do it. I'm going to try and find a Hooded Goblin dice, because that's how we roll around here. And you're rolling a Canada dice? Yep. Oh, no. Hiya! No! Would you like to go first or second against the Drukhari?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll be back with his choice. And here we have, after the movement, the demons, rightly so, decided to take the first turn. It was like back and forth, but then I asked Cody, I was like, do I want to go first? And he's like, you do want to go first. I was like, that's your answer. So he decided to run up. Yes, of course, he rolled a 6 for advance, 23 inches forward. So it's just going to run her down my throat, because then he can make her really hard to kill, etc., etc. On this side, we had another one advance. This one has a locust. This one has a locust? That's a locust, right? Yeah. Locust and locust. But of course, with this coming in here, the other 2 that don't have locusts can just use this one's locust to get up and charge this way. And then, of course, he got the Nurglings on that objective over there, has gotten the Nurglings within 3 of that one, and then advanced these Nurglings up over here as well, and kept the Furies back here. So a combination of things that are happening here. And of course, Magnus will be able to arrive on turn 2, which will be after me having 1 turn instead of me having 2 turns. So smart play on his play as well. But with that, we move into the psychic phase, and what is there is of a shooting phase. And that is that. And we end after turn number 1. He did make a charge into the Venom, killed the Venom, and then piled in. He was debating trying to tag some of the Venoms, but if he did so, Lilith would get to attack, and then Lilith would actually do some work. I did spend a command point to Overwatch with a Venom. Put 2 wounds on it in Overwatch, and then my birds put another 2 wounds, and then the Ven exploded to put another wound. So I've done 5 wounds to this thing. Yep. Which has been a stroke of good fortune for the witches.
Yes, it has.
But other than that, we're moving on to turn 1. He does get his 2 points for engage on all fronts.
3.
There's nothing in this corner here. You have that one.
Oh, I went the wrong way. That was a mistake.
Oh, if you want to go that way, that's fine. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so he's going to get his 3. So, yeah, same result, just different side. Yeah. Okay. Like that, he gets his engage on all fronts. Because those Nurglings over here, he's got Nurglings back there, Nurglings back there. Okay, so 3 points for engage. I need to get 2 points for killing a vehicle. Other than that, we're moving on to turn number 1 for the Drukhari. Movement phase, turn 1. I took a lot of time with my movement. Like, I was thinking a lot. Playing with witches is not easy, because it's like you're literally on a tightrope. So I've decided to try and deal with this, of course. I have to. And I put up a screen. They just fell back and moved up into a screen here. and there's one in range to contest that objective. So aim is to try and kill those Nurglings to contest that objective. This plane did move up this way. Probably might get smited or whatever, but I need to push Magnus further that way. At least that's my plan for now. Same with these birds. They advanced. They moved. They rolled a 5 for their advance, so they moved really far up, and they got up over here. And then these Hellions moved up, and then the Reaver jet bikes slash attacked that Keeper of Secrets to put 2 wounds on her. So she's down to 9 wounds. She is -1 to wound against shooting, though, which is huge. And with 2 CPs, she can go up to a 4-up invul. Yep. So it's going to be hard. I have to like combined arms her. She's going to soak up a lot of my firepower this turn. Then again, the Hellions I'm hoping can go in and do some damage on the Nurglings, because they do have +1 attack, which is big as well. Okay, let's move on to let's see what happens.
Tiki tack boom.
End of turn number 1.
I'm gonna take your dice, I'm gonna throw them out.
So I'm gonna grab your dice, we'll toss them. 6 shots, 5 hits, 4 wounds, and he passed 3 invulnerable saves. But I did do 6 damage with the Test of Skill Reaper. Oh, so cool. Other than that, the Hellions did murder some Nurglings. Other shooting, I was able to kill it. So I did get 5 points for killing. He did my first scramblers as well. And I got 2 for engage, which means we're moving into turn 2. I've killed 2 units of Nurglings. I was able to contest this. Because you need to hold 2 objectives, he's getting 5 points for holding 2 objectives, and he doesn't hold more than me. As we move in to turn number 2. End of turn 2 for the Chaos Demons. The Demons had a rough turn. The little birds held off just enough, just because of the way that the smites happened. He failed a smite over here that could have meant the death of the birds.
Failed both of them.
Both of the smites, that's right, with the pluses, because he did all the smites over here and then didn't do them over here. And I had a bird left and then another bird with 2 wounds after the shooting, which meant he couldn't charge this guy into the Hellions. Selesky, or whatever his name is, tried to charge through the forest and failed, even with a reroll.
Yep.
Because he spent his reroll on that. The Furies had already committed to the fight, tried to tag the Reaver jet bikes to prevent them from slash attacking next turn, but rolled terrible for saves. And then the big chicken that moved up this way to charge this only did 6 damage, so my plane is alive with 2 wounds remaining after taking 2 damage from a smite from Magnus.
3 ones to wound.
Oh my goodness gracious. Now, unless you wanted to use your last CP to reroll 1, in which case he could die, but it's up to you. And then this guy just advanced and moved up in the middle. And then I only lost 3 birdies here, so I do have to take a break test for them. However, with the new break rules, morale, I really like it for things like beasts, because they're only leadership like 4. So I've lost 3, but on a 1 I auto-pass. No, so I do fail, so 1 dies. And then on a 1 or 2, that one runs. Nope. So that's it. Before they would have just all run. So now morale actually helps little beast packs like that. It's kind of cool. So with that, you're gonna use it? Okay.
Let's do it.
He was so frustrated he didn't think of it. Now, if I just told him to do that to roll another one, I think he's gonna flip the table. So you're all gonna be here as witness? No, okay.
Okay.
So he is gonna die. Does the plane blow up? It does.
Oh my god, it's every game we play.
2 for 2. Every time Cody and I play, vehicles blow up
Just cause
everywhere. But that does mean that my Hellions and my Succubus and my my birdie, oh no, it would have been the one that ran that took the damage.
Yep.
Okay, so against the big chicken, D3 takes 2 damage. But it does have a feel no pain, and for every feel no pain it makes, it heals a wound, which is kind of cool. Goes down to 12.
Yep.
My Succubus takes 2 as well. She's just behind here, so she takes 1. And my Hellions, that's not flat on the table because we roll it that way, and takes 3. 6s, take 2. So 2 Hellions go down. Not enough, well, they can't fail their break test that way to combat attrition. And so that's 2 Hellions and 1 wound on there, and then 1 of them. So with that, we're moving in to the next turn. I do hold 2, thank goodness, which does mean I get 5 points. And with that, we move into piling into them. That means I get to attack you.
Get
go, little birdie. 4 attacks from the little birdie. Needing 4s. Oh, yeah. Needing 6s. Peck, peck. No, sad. If I added them together, then maybe. Okay, Magnus is on the table as well. He's already buffed. +1, -1 to hit. +1 saves or +1 involves? +1 saves. So he's on the table. I do have a deep striking unit to come in that I could potentially bring in. But positionally, I'm really strong on this flank over here. So we'll see what happens as we move in to turn number 2. Also, a note from the last turn. I can't do scramblers with characters, so I didn't get a scrambler point last turn. That means I have to commit a scrambler. I still have to do my 3 scramblers.
Yep.
Because the characters cannot do scramblers. I totally forgot. And I remembered halfway through his turn, and I was like, wait, characters can't do scramblers, which means he's going to run up and go kill himself and do stuff. Okay, now we can continue. The witches hit home. Well, I did kill her with the Hellions that were back there. The Hellions moved up, charged into Nurglings at the back of that building and killed them all. And then the bikes just shot and killed Celesk. I did a couple of wounds, 5 wounds. 5 wounds to that guy with the Reaper. The Reaper's been on fire this game. And then this is down to 5 wounds after I charged and shot. He did attack into Lilith, who took 2 mortal wounds from a spell that we forgot to cast, so we casted it. And I failed one, but re-rolled it back up. So she's still alive. And then that Raider moved from here with an enhanced sail for 22 inches, then shot, and then fire and faded up even further. So I have 10 witches in that Raider as well. So with that, we're moving into turn 3. Magnus is coming to fight. And you can't fall back and cast powers, which is a big deal now in 8th edition. But what I was able to do was sort of like block him on that turn with the little birds. And then this turn I hit hard. And now it is time to basically flip it. Although because he only has 1 objective, he gets 5 on the primary. I did kill 2 more Psychers, which means I max out my kill the Psyker. And I did kill one of his United We Stand models. So he's down to only 10 points left with that secondary. So with that, we're moving into round number 3. Turn 3, mid-turn 3 recap. Chicken has killed 3 of them with a smite. Magnus boosted out with a warp time to get over here. Well, he's deciding where he wants to go with that. Over here, I lost 1 bike to a smite, and the Demonettes have decided to arrive within 9 inches here, basically, to come up and try and do some damage to those Hellions. But other than that, we're moving into the Psychic phase and shooting and charge phase, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so we have the end of turn 3. Magnus came in, blew up that Raider. The witches got out. He basically piled in, took 3 damage in return. This Keeper just murdered all the bikes except for 1, who stayed after the attrition tests. And these Demonettes just destroyed those Hellions. He doesn't like the Hellions very much.
They've been winning the game.
The Hellions have been mega cool against Nurgling especially. They've just been killing everything, and that has been
good at their job.
Awesome.
I'm super impressed.
Okay, so with that, I've been really impressed with my Nurgling, with my Hellions. They've been great.
Your Nurgling
she passed heroically. She was like, I'm gonna roll a 1, impress Lilith. So now, probably gonna charge. No, I can't charge Lilith. She's probably just gonna stay there and just attack this guy because I ran out of CP. I spent the CP on the bikers to get reroll wounds against Slanesh, essentially. Yeah. Silly Slanesh. And I did put a couple of wounds on, but nothing crazy. He's down to 8, so he's bracketed. With that, we're moving into my turn number 3, and I do have 1, 2, 3 objectives, which means that I do have more than he does, which gives me a 15. Moving in to turn 3.
Yep.
End of turn number 3. That was turn 3. Wow, what a crazy turn. So I did finally kill the Lord of Change. I got 2 succubuses to charge in. They took him out because apparently he can't make feel no pains, which would have been great because then he regains wounds.
Not a single feel no pain, mate.
That's right. Actually, I needed to take a morale for them. They lost 3, so they're good. So they put a couple of wounds on Magnus, nothing crazy, but they did lose 3 of their number. I do get my 3 for engage on all fronts. I deep struck this unit here to get me my scramblers in his deployment zone. Now, something fun about this deployment zone for scramblers is it's like this, right? And there's 8 inches between here and here, which means I can be 6 inches out of my deployment zone next turn with these witches, which will give me my scrambler point, which is actually really interesting. You can start here, get it turn 1, then just move out and get it over here. Very easy to get those 10 points.
Yep.
And last but not least, Magnus is pretty much stuck there, because if he falls back, he can't cast any powers.
Yep.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest things about 9th edition. The Hellions did not kill all the Nurglings this time. They passed a lot of invulnerable saves. So they survived against the 2 damage Hellions, while the Demonettes are completely fine back there. And all my Venoms did take out the last Keeper of Secrets. Yeah. So with that, we're moving into turn 4. It's Magnus versus the world. On a side note, by the way, he did like 12 mortal wounds with a super smite on the witches. They all died. I forgot to bring my plane in that flew off last turn, so the plane went bye-bye. And decided not to come back because I completely forgot that's a thing in this edition. Yeah. So one plane could have come back and helped me kill some Nurglings or something, but it was not to be today. Leave down in the comments, be like, Skari, you forgetful succubus, you. And here we are at the end of turn 4 for Magnus. He did warp time, got himself over here, killed a Venom. And that's it. So he's going to get 2 points for his engage as well. The Nurgling that survived just moved back. And so he's scoring that objective. So I actually do not get any primary points this turn because I am not within 3 inches of there. And I just have 1 and Magnus has contested that objective. So I get 0 primary. Okay, so moving on to, I don't think secondary-wise it's going to make a difference, but that's big. Like, little things like that late game can really change the tide, even when you have a few models left. Yep. The Demonettes are over there. He can't score, I can basically try and contest this if I want to try and stop him from scoring primary next turn. However, Magnus is pretty much going to get shot. I was able to deny the -1 to hit, so everything that's shooting at him right now is shooting at full max volume. So with that...
in range.
You casted it when you were here. Oh. Yeah, so you casted that, then you did the smite, and you exploded everybody, then you spent the CP to warp time him. Yeah, okay, so with that, moving on to turn 4. Okay, and that is game! We've decided to call it, as you can see, Magnus died. And the reason was this guy. Did 2 wounds and Snake Eyes for saves, 9 damage, and Magnus then went down to the 2 Venoms. So the Reaper gets an MVP.
Well, he did 2 damage.
Oh, that's right. He did 2 saves.
And he didn't make any saves there.
That's true. It's like, it literally was like, and Magnus has 0 armor save today.
Magnus just stopped wanting to be alive.
But in my movement phase, I had moved my Helma Spike back here. I'd moved that here. I moved the Lilith to basically try a long bomb charge. The birds to get the engage as well as my biker, and then they could advance and charge because I Cult of Grief, so they were going to move up and potentially just do some damage on the Demonettes. I had a CP for the rerolls against Slaanesh, and then these Hellions were going to try and take out this Nurgling. So with that, it is a victory for the Witch Cult. Let us know what you would have done differently down below, or if what you liked about the lists, because they're very unique. Witch Cult, like nobody plays as witches, and nobody plays Monster Mash. However, test of skill, really powerful, not only against monsters, but also against vehicles. Because you get +1 to wound is really, really powerful. One of the reasons Dark Technomancer Coven is good as well, but they also get a 2 damage on top of that. Which then makes the Venoms crazy strong against Marines and other tough units as well. Interesting. So, final thoughts, Cody. What are your takeaways?
I gotta respect your speed. I really like going second with this list. So, and this map is really hard for my army to deploy correctly. So I felt like on the back foot from the beginning. And then I kind of made a big mistake here with my placement, with my movement, and it cost me the game, what I did there on turn 2.
Yeah, because my Reavers were able to then jump over, target the character.
And all I had to do was move the Nurglings up, and I just forgot to do it. And I just kind of kicking myself because they were there, I had them there, and I planned to do it, and I just went.
To basically block Celeste off, right?
Yeah, so
at the same time, I think your original plan was to kill the birds and move up this way, and then use the Furies to kind of do the same thing.
You should always have a fallback in case everything fails, right? So the shooting didn't go my way, the smiting didn't go my way, they lived, and I should have just been ready for that eventuality, and I got a little greedy.
Well, that's, then Magnus, I think we discussed putting him on the board at the beginning. I don't think my list, how it is right now, has enough firepower to deal with Magnus in one turn. Maybe with, like, everything shooting at him, but then again, if I'm putting my Venoms into you, I have to, like, move up, and then all your keepers just come in and murder me.
My list loves it when I can put a keeper, like, here, or put a keeper there, hide them, make you come up to the mid-board, charge everything how I want to.
Yeah, because had I gone first, I guess, going on to the objectives here, then opens me up. Now, at the same time, I had planned to go first, and if I went first, my birds would have basically done the same thing and created the lines to then allow me to score those points on the second turn and then kind of block you off. However, if you would have had Magnus with a warp time getting up in my face and stuff like that, it would have been a little different. But let us know what you think down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the game. Beautifully painted models. Make sure you check out The Hooded Goblin. They do shipping anywhere. So make sure you check them out. Lots of cool stuff. The link is down below in the description. Thanks a lot to all the channel Patreons, without whom the Denizen community, I wouldn't be able to do content like this. And I hope you enjoy the content. What would you change? Do you like the witch cult? Let me know in a comment, and I will be back on the next video. And today it is time to say, the Dark Pew Pewkin.